So one of the main questions I think some people had from episode 7 was why didn't Tariq confront Kane about his role in planting the badge, which resulted in Tariq ending up in jail and fighting for his life. Now the thing is with Kane, he's way too unpredictable, and you've all heard the saying keep your friends close, but your enemies closer, right? And this is exactly what Tariq needs to do in this instance. So it doesn't mean that Tariq trusts him, because he definitely doesn't, but he's got no option but to work with Kane. So in this video, we're gonna run through Tariq and Kane's relationship, and why Tariq needs to use principles of Law 2 from the 48 Laws of Power. But if they were able to get on the same page, they would definitely make a deadly duo. But Tariq's trust problems, it goes beyond Kane. His love life keeps on taking new twists and turns, but can he trust either Lauren, Effie, or Diana, and who's the right one for him? So we're gonna break down Tariq's trust problems with all 4 of these characters, and how he needs to navigate some of these situations. But let's start with Kane. Now, Tariq and Kane, they've been forced into working together again, because of how Mecca is dealing with Lorenzo, with all of his supply going to him. So that leaves Monet and Kane's business with Tariq dead in the water. And Davis McLean also made it clear to him that him and Tariq are in this together. So if Kane's hoping that Tariq goes down, then he's got another thing coming, because he'll go down as well. But Tariq, he'll never snitch, because he knows the consequences of doing so. And this is the problem that Kane has caused. Just look how messy this whole situation is, from Kane killing Ramirez. And he really didn't think about this kill, and just what kind of impact it would have had on everyone around him. Because let's not forget who this has impacted, and that's Carrie, Zeke, and Tariq so far. And Drew could very well get dragged into this equation, because his name came out of Ev's mouth once already. And Drew's name, it can also be found in Jabari's notepad. And with Detective Whitman sniffing around, no doubt he's going to be back to question Ev. And what's he going to say? This is why Drew should have taken the kill shot in episode 7, because you really can't have any loose ends. And it really does make me think, is this going to be the death that we see in episode 8? But killing a cop is a huge no. It brings way too much heat and attention on you and your organization, which is why Ghost was always against killing law enforcement. But with Tariq and Kane, they have more in common than just Jabari and Ramirez. They need to work together because they need money, ironically to pay for McLean's greedy ass. And this actually does benefit Tariq in a way, because now Tariq can keep a close eye on him and all the moves he makes. Kane, he's always better off when someone's telling him what to do. When he makes impulsive decisions, just like I went through, he's someone who causes a shitstorm, and then he expects everybody else to clean up his mess. But let's have a look at Law 2 from the 48 Laws of Power. Never put too much trust in friends, and learn how to use your enemies. And the conversation which Tariq had with Kanan was important for him to realize the bigger picture when it came to this principle of law with Kane and Effie as well. So we're gonna break this law down into 2 parts. First we're gonna look at friends and then enemies. Now, Tariq's first instincts when he came to this situation he found himself in was turning to Brayden and Effie for help. But Tariq really should think twice about doing so, because there are no friends in the streets, especially with Effie. Now, within this law, often you'll find friends will agree with you and help you, but you'll notice sometimes in life, friends won't ever challenge you or tell you if you're doing something wrong. And to be fair to Tariq, he really had no choice but to trust Effie and Brayden. But Effie really did challenge Tariq, and she did open his eyes to what he was doing. But there still remains a question mark around Effie, because she's too much alike Tariq. She's always going to be out for herself. And he's also forgetting what Tasha taught him in season 1. If you can't trust to work with this girl, then get her to trust you. And if Tasha was around, there is no way she would let Tariq work with Effie. But with Brayden, the question is, who will he choose? His family or Tariq? The picture that can help Tariq get Yaz back will have huge implications on the Westerns. So we really are getting close to crunch time. We really are about to find out how far Brayden's willing to go. And if he's not willing to give up his family, let's see if Tariq takes it in his own hands. But coming to enemies, sometimes in life, enemies can be more useful than friends, because with Effie and Brayden, Tariq may have the tendency to drop his guard, like he did with Brayden in the first half of the season. But with an enemy like Kane, after what he did with the badge, he's going to keep Tariq on his toes at all times. And Tariq will definitely be watching every single move from now on. And sometimes enemies can be more useful than friends, when you work with them of course. The important thing is to overcome any issues that you've had in the past, but never forget them, and use Kane as a resource. So how can Tariq use Kane? Now, something which Tariq lacks is his street toughness. Yes, he's a killer, and yes, he's killed before a few times, but Kane is a soldier, and he's built different. He's also someone who grew up in the streets, and with Tariq's brains and Kane's muscle, they definitely complement each other well. And Kane, he just needs to be told what to do. But one thing I'm sure we can all agree on, Kane needs to get his, and there is no way Tariq is going to let Kane get away with what he did. There has to be some sort of consequences for Kane, and eventually I do see them being at odds again, because I really don't see them working together in the long term. But who knows, Kane may surprise us, and he may actually help Tariq to the point where they're square. Now, one thing I do have an issue with before we move on to the girls in Tariq's life is this scene. McClane showed Tariq the video of Kane shooting Ramirez, but they can't see it's Kane, and the prosecution they're claiming is Tariq, but I'm sure they can clearly see the Range Rover in the back, which belongs to Kane, and could probably ID the plate. But for the sake of the storyline, I think we just gotta roll with this one, just like how Tariq never noticed his gun was taken by Diana in season 1. But let's talk about Tariq's trust problems when it comes to his love life. Now with Lauren, she's someone who's not street, and she is definitely not someone who'd be down with everything that Tariq is. But even though the truth is right in front of her eyes, with how Tariq is a drug dealer on campus and the murderer, her hatred towards Carrie is making her look in her direction, because Carrie manipulated the shit out of Lauren, and Lauren now seems more focused on bringing Carrie down rather than anything else. And let's not forget, although Lauren was wearing the wire, she was someone who was trying to just help Tariq, but Tariq is someone who's put his trust in his lawyers, so if Lauren's not down for the cause, then the door had to be closed on Lauren. And with that being said, this moves us on to Diana. Now with the relationship with Diana, it's always been complicated, because Tariq genuinely liked Lauren, out of all the girls in my opinion, but like he said in season 1, he's got options. But the thing is with Diana, because he was doing business with Monet, he knows never to mix business with pleasure, even though he knew how much Diana wanted him, and Tariq is the reason why Diana wanted to study at Stansfield. But she's been warned by two people, Monet and Effie. Now Monet's warned her that lovers make you weak, and partners make you strong, and Tariq, he's his own man. And we also had Effie warning Diana that Tariq can't be trusted, and by not fucking with Tariq, she'll be saving herself a lot of grief. But she didn't listen to either of them, and what pushed her into Tariq's direction in episode 7 was all the issues that she was having at home, because her and Monet, they've not seen eye to eye for a while, and even though Lorenzo's back home, she's got different visions to Monet, and Diana's also not happy because she wanted to move weight and go to school at the same time, specifically Stansfield. But with Tariq no longer doing business with Monet, she finally got what she wanted. But is she using Tariq's attraction against him, just like Monet taught her, or is she really gonna fall for Tariq? But let's talk about Effie before we conclude it all. Now Effie is someone who I've always been a big fan of, because you can see she's got something about her. She's got history which we don't know about yet, apart from a few small bits. And she sounds like someone who's definitely caught a body or two when she told Tariq that he did what he had to do when he killed Jabari, which is exactly the same thing Jukebox said to Kanan in Power. Now Effie also called herself a monster in season 1. She's betrayed Tariq before, and she's someone who will always do what's best for herself, because she's too much like Tariq, and this is the problem with Effie. Tariq is someone who will always put himself first. He'll always do what's best for himself and his family, even if it means turning on his best friend. For example, season 5, episode 8. Kanan was his best friend, who taught him the game and accepted him for who he was. But when it came down to him family, or Kanan, we all know what he did. And I really do feel, as badass as Effie's gonna show us she's gonna be, I feel she's just the same as Tariq, which is why she can't be fully trusted yet. And I really do hope I'm wrong. I really do hope she's loyal to Tariq, but once someone betrays you, what's to say they won't do it again? So having said this, I think Lauren's too good, I think Effie's too bad, but Diana, she's just right in the middle. And I do think they complement each other well, just like how Tasha did with Ghost. Angela was Ghost's lover, but Tasha, she was his partner, and Tasha made him strong. And she was Ghost's go-to on so many occasions. For example, she told Ghost what move they needed to make when his careers were being hit, and how Ghost needed to get rid of the Sebs to take their territory. Tasha also had other qualities such as her accounting knowledge, which helped Ghost set up all the books with his legit businesses. And Diana is someone who also wants to get her MBA in accounting, and this is what I mean by her complementing Tariq with the qualities that she'd bring. She's also someone who knows him and accepts him, and as much as I think Effie and Tariq would make one strong duo, I don't think either of them can be trusted in the long term. So that's a breakdown of Tariq's trust problems with Kane and his love life, and how he needs to use principles of law 2 for his own benefit. But let me know what you guys think. Can Tariq work with Kane in the long term? And who's the right girl for Tariq? Let me know all your thoughts down below in the comment section. And of course, if you're new to the channel and you haven't done so already, then remember to smash the subscribe button if you want to see everything Power Book 2 Ghost and Power Universe related. But as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.